Hello to all of you from around the world. I want to welcome you again to another beautiful edition of Soulivity Today, broadcasting live from our studio right here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and on KMIT 1490 AM radio in Southern California. My name is Brian Westley Johnson, and we have an amazing show for you today. This is our Hot Topics Friday edition, but we are doing it with a twist today, where we're going to be talking about one of the main reasons why we do what we do here at Soulivity, which is to inspire and uplift everyone. Now, one way we do this is by bringing people together to listen to the personal stories of others. And through these stories, we support everyone by digging a little bit deeper into what lives inside their hearts and begins the process of creating the life they truly desire. Now, one aspect of this process is learning your passion and perfecting it as a craft through rigorous study and practice. Well, today we have a person I'd like you to meet that we have featured on Soulivity.com before. His name is KIRK B.R. WOLLER. He's a highly accomplished actor, director, and producer across television and film. And as a classically trained actor, KIRK has the distinction of being a true chameleon with over 30 onstage performances and more than 160 film and television credits to his name, including star turns in the indie features like Woodlawn, like Dandelion Dust, Midnight Clear, Hometown Legend, Urban Justice, The Lucky Ones, and The Least of These. And his work in AI, artificial intelligence, led to a substantial offer by the man himself, Steven Spielberg, in his blockbuster film, Minority Report, starring Tom Cruise. Now, here's a bit more about his substantial appearances.
We're gonna find my daughter, and you're gonna owe her an apology.
Mr. Lawford died of a staph infection. The surgery went fine.
Shouldn't have died.
It wasn't my fault.
She blames you.
Yes, I know she blames me, and she called here a number of times.
Molly lied.
I know.
What?
It's what I would have done.
No, Bill. No, it's wrong, and you know it's
You
wrong.
don't get to decide what God's will is. Do you want Joey to be beaten, maybe killed by this man?
No.
The courts are wrong, Beth. What other option do they have at this point? Honey, what else is this trip for if not to save children?
Mr. Pasonic had threatened to kill her if she didn't jump herself.
That's a lie.
And she called you, right?
I didn't touch her.
Yeah, but she called you, right?
It worked for her, that's all. Why is it my responsibility for what happens to her after that? No. Hard to starboard! Starboard engine's full of stars! Starboard engine's full of stars! I got it! I got it! Come on! Come on!
Come on, just have some water. You need some water.
Because it's okay. Do you know what it's like to be in such pain? You know what breaking out would have been for me the last time you were here? A bullet in the head.
You know, maybe I could have helped him if I had just explained.
And you never shared this with anyone?
You know, the truth is, I didn't want anybody to see me with Tommy and know that he wasn't mine. That Gail had... I wish I didn't even know.
Don't say anything at all.
Isaac Roberts, you are under arrest for the murder of Officer Xavier Elroy. You have the right to remain silent. I feel like you spit on me.
Well, that was never my intention.
I only said I did because you did.
Oh. It's okay.
I don't even look like you.
And count your blessings. I mean, who wants this face?
I like your face.
Did you tell your girlfriend what happened yet?
I'll tell her when it's working again.
You don't become functional overnight.
I love my kids.
What?
I love my kids. Whatever they did, I mean, no matter what I said about it in the moment, I would never not want them to come back.
I got 400-foot cliff banks straight down to the water, so it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to find your son if the dogs can track his scent.
Well, I'm afraid that's not possible.
Come again?
He's a humanic.
A what?
A robot.
I know exactly what you mean. I read all about those things. We're done here. I don't know what happened to you in Cambodia, Lieutenant.
Take it easy.
Now, with that, here's the first part of our interview with KIRK. KIRK, man, I have been looking forward to this interview with you for Soulivity today. Long list of acting credits to your name, and just a life full of passion and purpose and good things that you've brought to the world. I guess my first question to you, and then I'll hand it over to Dee for his questions. When did you know that acting was your passion? I mean, when did this occur? Was it early in age, or did it come later for you?
Thank you, and thank you very much for having me. It's always an honor and a blessing to see both of you, and thank you for having me. It was third grade. I was 8 years old, and I still remember her name, Mrs. Chase, my third grade teacher, elementary school teacher, decided to do a class play inside the classroom, and I have no idea why. She made me the lead of the play, Captain John Smith, in Seattle, and I memorized and I did it, and I remember being so into it. And there's a moment in the story where chains are being pulled up, and you know those little rings that you put binders together? I was sitting there on the counter, and I spontaneously started to clink it, make it sound like the chains. I mean, I just got so into it. It was so enamored with the process and being there and doing that. And then it was the first time also fellow students said, "Hey, you were really good." And I think it was the first time, other than mom and dad, the rest of the world saying, "Hey, you're pretty good at that." So I think that's when it started.
Now, that's pretty cool. You remember the teacher's name. I guess she had an impression on you.
She was great. She was really a great teacher. But I want to say then, my mom and dad being from Germany and I being a first generation American and a kid of German immigrants, they did not want me to have a career in acting. So I just let that go and ended up, going to college and getting my bachelor's degree is in business and a minor in psychology. But I was actually the class president of my business school. I had a job offer with Clorox at 24 years old to be like a big sales rep for them and all this other stuff. And I turned all that down and moved back to Seattle, where I'm from, and started over at 24 with the intent of making my living as an actor. So much to the chagrin of my entire family.
D'Angelo, I'll go to you.
So I got out of it, is what I'm trying to say. I didn't, it was like it started at 8 and then nothing until I was 24.
D, I'll go to you.
That's amazing. KIRK, that's interesting. And do you remember your first big audition?
These are such good questions, you guys. First big audition. I think the first big audition I had, or I think more than anything, it was big audition. It was for Mark Rydell. The film was about the kidnapping of the Lindbergh baby. and it was
Oh wow.
Stephen
Wow.
Ray from Ireland, and then oh god, her mom's Ingrid Bergman. Um, I see her
Mm-hmm,
face.
mm-hmm.
Anyway, it was I played a German immigrant, and I just remember auditioning, and Mark Rydell knew the Meisner method. So there's, I don't know, I guess the stars aligned, and that was the first big audition. I remember when I got the news that I got it. I'm not joking. I like sprinted down the street in North Hollywood, California, as
Wow.
fast as I could run, as long as I could run. That's just how excited
Wow.
I was. But I guess that was sort of the first big thing. I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm in something of value. Um, I can't think of her name. Isabella Rossellini
Oh,
and
Oh,
Stephen Ray.
yes.
It was a
oh,
great honor to work with
Isabella.
them.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Now you mentioned
That's a
Stanford Meisner. Tell us who that is for, tell the audience who that is for people who may not know who that person is.
Sanford Meisner is probably he is definitely one of the greatest acting teachers probably in the last 100 years. It was a movement that happened in New York City in the late 20s, early 30s, all coming from the grandfather of the acting that we all know today, Konstantin Stanislavski at the Moscow Art Theater. A group of people went to Paris to meet with him to understand his method, and then there were four major offshoots that came as a result of that, and that was Lee Strasberg, which is sort of method
Mm-hmm.
acting. It was Stella Adler, it was Uta Hagen, and it was Sanford Meisner. And Sanford Meisner
Amazing.
trained people like Robert Duvall,
Wow.
Sandra Bullock,
Wow.
Tony
Yeah.
Randall, Steve McQueen, Jack Nicholson. I mean, the list goes on, the people he trained. And then I had the great fortune of training with him for 5 years. I did like a month-long intensive, and then he invited me to continue to train with him. And I trained with him for 5 years up until his passing. What was that, 1992,
Wow.
3? And then we started the Sanford
Mm.
Meisner Center for the Arts at Theater, and we were doing original works with Lynn Mamet, David Mamet's brother, and we were
Amazing.
winning LA Theater Pick of the Week and stuff like that. But yeah, he's just an amazing acting mentor and teacher, and had a huge impact on my life and how I work as an actor.
Wow. Wow. D'Angelo?
Kirk, I love how humble you are, and you've been in this game for a very long time. What can you impart to younger actors?
Impart in what way?
Any wisdom, any guidance if they're starting out? Would you say take a class with Meisner technique or Adler technique?
Yeah, acting is a craft. A doctor, a
Yes. Mm-hmm.
lawyer, a pianist, a painter, a makeup artist, uh, creator of content like you guys are doing
Mm-hmm.
here. These are
Mm-hmm.
art forms, and they require discipline and they require training. You don't become a neurosurgeon or even a plastic surgeon or any kind of doctor
Yes.
or lawyer overnight. You go to school and you train. Acting is not a mistake. It's very deliberate. It's not about getting lucky. What's interesting about acting is the great ones make it look easy. They make it look like they're just talking, which in fact they are. But to do that when somebody says action is not easy,
Mm-hmm.
when all the cameras are pointed at you and there's 150 people on set and so forth. So it is a craft. It's a discipline. You got to get up every day to perfect what it is you do, and absolutely take classes. You need a technique. If you don't have a technique, you will not succeed. You can get semi lucky. There are a lot of people that work in the industry now, but they have really great talent and they have trained along the way. God gives you certain natural abilities, but
Right.
that only takes
Mm-hmm.
you so far. So yes, if you aspire
Mm-hmm.
to be an actor, you have to have a technique. You have to know what you're doing. You have to get material, interpret that material, then execute that material consistently and you need a solid foundation and a technique to build your career upon. And it's a discipline. You got to get up every day to perfect what it is you do. So, yeah, this is not just, oh, I want to be famous or I want to be a star, because the misnomer is acting is really it's actually a very selfless art. It's a very it's not about ego. In fact, it's about paying attention, not getting attention. It's about
That's real.
it's
Yes.
about being interested, not trying to be interesting. It's about engaging and telling the truth under imaginary circumstances as yourself, and it
Wow.
requires discipline and hard work. And I've just for the last 35 years getting up every day, and I still do to this very day, to try to get better at what it is I do. So, yeah, train. Is that a song?
And then train some more.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Listen, we're going to take a quick break, but don't worry, we have even more Soulivity Today coming up, so stay tuned. Soulivity Today is brought to you by Assume control over your weight and broader health with the 80 Bites program by Physical Mind Institute.
For 50 years, we've been told, load up your plate with veggies. Load them up. Because all this spinach, look at it, all the spinach is only 100 calories. But avoid fat, because a tiny sliver of butter is also 100 calories. So spinach is good, butter is bad, right? But not today. Now we're told, put butter on everything, even in your coffee. Why? Because fat doesn't spike insulin, as carbs do. And stretching the stomach with all those veggies unbalances our digestive hormones. So eat healthy today means fat, fasting, stomach control, right here's the stomach. Forget calories. Hormones rule, and 80 Bites is the solution.
Go to 80bytes.com for more information.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Hello there, we're back with more here on Soulivity Today. We're talking about perfecting your craft with actor, director, and producer KIRK B.R. WOLLER. Here's more from our interview with him. I think you're getting to a question that I was going to ask you, next, where there's a surprising stat about you that I just read a couple of days ago, and that is that you have a 20% booking ratio. Now, for a lot of people, they may think, oh, well, that's pretty low. But actually, in the industry, that's high, right? That means out of every 10 auditions, right, you'll book one or two, right? I looked this up too. The industry standard is you're doing well if you're getting one gig out of 15 or 25 auditions. So everything that you were just saying makes sense to me, but is there additional kinds of things that you think that you owe that success to, in addition to the training and the dedication and that kind of thing?
Boy, I love that you brought that up, and that's no joke. I'm very meticulous, and I literally kept records since 2000 and no 1998 or something of all my
Yeah,
auditions.
gotta know
And
which
it's like
where you're going.
19 exactly. It's like 19.87. So it's not quite 20, but you round up when you do math typically, and so it's 20%. But here's the thing
Hmm.
about that: a Hall of Fame baseball player will have a batting average and can of maybe 250, 300. That's Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
that means
exactly.
is that, and even at 20%, that number, that means that every time that Hall of Fame baseball player steps up at bat, he's not going to get on base 7 times. Okay,
Absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah.
only
Yep.
Mhm.
only three, and in my case,
Yep.
8 out of the 10, 8 times where I devoted and committed and prepared for an audition, 8 times I did not get that. So I think what adds to that percentage is the mental game acting is. You
Mm,
have to have a
mm.
strong inner game to, just like a Hall of Fame baseball player, to not freak out at bat and understand
It's amazing.
you're only going to get on base twice. And
Right.
so you have to accept that reality, not take that reality personally. And it doesn't matter on some level whether you get it or not. What matters is how good
Mhm.
of a job you
Mhm.
do for yourself. And
Mm.
so you have to have a very, very strong mental game. There's a great book, I'll throw it out there. It's called The Inner Game of Tennis
Mm.
by Timothy
Yes.
Cadwell, I think is his name.
Yep.
Incredible
Mhm.
book. And it talks about self one and self two, but you you have to have a strong mental game, and I think that's what's made the difference. I've been an athlete all my life, and so, and I'm telling you, man, along my journey and still in my journey, there are people that are 10 times as talented as I am. I'm not joking, so talented, but I'm just German and I'm stubborn, and success is my only option. So I refuse to stop. I refuse to quit. I refuse to listen to what anybody says. And I just keep
Yes.
going. And I think that's the other part of it. So a strong mental game and this willingness and this desire to say that success is literally my only option. There is no other option, period. And
Mhm.
I think that
Right.
that's
Wow.
helpful.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
D'Angelo, do you have another question?
Yeah, Kirk, I think I'm German because that's how I navigate through life. I often tell,
It's the only way, man.
people with yeah, it's like, because I know when I meet a director or a producer, I'm bringing my A game. Either they're going to hire me or not. But I would say the same, probably the 8th interview or the 10th interview that I get for different projects, I normally get it. And sometimes I turn them down because it's not a great fit. Have you ever turned down a job that you thought,
Mm.
man, I want this, and then you realize through the process, like, this is not for
Question.
me? Have you ever had that moment or moments?
It always makes me. I mean, we're talking about me too much, but I will answer the question. But yeah, D'Angelo, that's. I love your discipline. I think you are German. You have to have that desire to win, no matter what. And the same thing, Brian, what you've created here.
Mm.
You have to have
That's
a passion and a love for what you do, and you just got to go for it. Turn down a job. Yeah, there was this horror film that I was auditioning for, and it just got too weird. It was too violent. It was too brutal. It was too.
Interesting.
It involved like children and kind of
wow.
sadistic stuff, and I'm like, and my agent got really mad. And I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do it. So absolutely. I mean, I have moral lines in the sand that I'm just not going to play certain characters, and I'm not going to go there in my own mind for certain things. But that's one of it. It was a horror. I'll won't mention the film, but yeah, it was just too sadistic and gross and torture, and
Now
it
I'm
was just
intrigued,
weird.
really intrigued. And I think
Yeah.
I know what film that. Well, I'm a big horror buff. I don't know if you know that. And I actually, from what you just said, I actually know what
I
film
didn't.
that is, and it became highly successful. No.
Yeah. I think so, but
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
Okay,
not my
that's
cup
all
of
we need
tea.
to know.
So, Kirk, I got two more
Not that
questions
I
for
have
you,
some,
but
not that I have some kind of, I'm sorry, not that I have some kind of moral high ground. That's not my position
no, no.
in life. It's just that there are certain things, and I'll just say it publicly, like I'll never play a pedophile. Never.
Mhm.
I don't
Gotta
care
have
how
your
much money. I'm
limitations.
not joking. Yeah, man, like that just doesn't go. That's just not going to work in my brain. And I know there's been a lot of
Mhm.
portrayals out there, and God bless everyone who's done that. That's just something I would never do. So I do have certain things that I would be uncomfortable doing, and that's one of them. And I think it's
Yes.
important that as an artist or as a craftsman, maybe one day I'll be lucky enough to be called an artist. I'm just really more of a craftsman, that you have to make decisions for yourself, and that would just be too uncomfortable. I just don't want to be on screen portraying something like that. Something like
Right.
So,
Yes.
so I have a question, a follow-up question to that. What's the
yes, sir.
one role that got away that you wish you would have taken that now is like big, that it was a big role?
Honestly, that's never happened to me.
Oh,
I'm not in a position.
excellent.
I'm not that. I never. I'm not in a position to be turning down stuff, if you know what I mean. It's not like, oh, I wish I would have done that. I hear these actors that, like, I turned that one down. I wish I didn't. I'm like, no, man, I'm just lucky to be working the way I see it. I just work really hard, and no, I've not. No, that's you're talking to the wrong guy.
Hey, we're going to take another break, but when we come back, we'll have even more of Soulivity today. We'll be back in just a few. Hi there, this is Brian with Soulivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Soulivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Soulivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoy the Aspire Academy by Soulivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life. And we're back with more of Soulivity today, talking about perfecting your craft with actor, director, and producer KIRK B.R. WOLLER. Now, one of Kirk's passions is teaching other actors in how to perfect their crafts as artisans. And he does this through ActorKlass, a place dedicated to the practice and perfection of art. And here's more with our interview with him. Well, let me ask you this one then. You know the old saying that if you teach a man to fish, if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach him to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. There's another side of that where I think that not everyone who's a fisherman should be teaching somebody how to fish. because they're not the greatest teacher. What makes your approach in terms of teaching people and other actors and helping them perfect their craft at ActorKlass so successful?
What is it about me? What is it about my approach?
Yeah.
Empathy, I think. Empathy is critical. You know, I never, with ActorKlass, and it's also like the WOLLERtechnique.com. There's other information about me and my approach, but my approach is really three things. It's a combination of Sanford Meisner, like we call it the Waller technique for marketing reasons, which I think is so arrogant, but a buddy of mine said we have to call it something, so be it.
Yeah.
But the Waller technique is basically Sanford Meisner, my first real big mentor, another mentor of mine, Alan Vint, and then I came up with this thing. It's called the sequential roadmap, because in theater where I started, you have 6 weeks to find the character in rehearsal, and you don't have that opportunity with film. So I came up with a method of sort of making decisions about every single line I say and every single line somebody else says. So I formulated an opinion on everything, and it's a triangle of three things. So I think my approach encompasses so many other approaches. It's Sanford Meisner, it's Uta Hagen, Stella Adler. It's a little bit of everything. So I think that's also helpful. And I think because of all my training and I guess the kind of person I am, I want to see, it's not my technique ultimately, it's going to be yours. So my job, as I see it, ultimately is back up. The most important and interesting person in the world is you. The fallacy about acting is that you have to become somebody else. That's not good thinking. Good thinking is being yourself under imaginary circumstances. How both of you gentlemen fall in love, fall out of love, try to get something accomplished is going to be different. All three of us are going to do that differently. So the most unique and interesting and dynamic character in the world is you. Therefore, you need to bring you to the scene. What would I do if I was in this situation? That's the first question you ask yourself. How would I go about falling in love? How do I go about doing whatever it is I'm doing in a scene? That is what makes the difference, and that's what stands out. And so I think my real job is to help people accept themselves. I think that's what I'm really doing, to accept themselves, to see themselves, and to understand that not only are you enough, you are everything. And I really mean that. Everything. You're everything. You can do no wrong. So it's really the craft of getting out of your own way, because that's what gets hired. It's your essence, it's your energy, it's your life experience. Because 9 out of 10 actors are going to do what they think the casting director or the director wants. There's going to be one actor who interprets that material for themselves and says, well, what would I do if I was in this situation where I'm falling out of love, or this person cheated on me? How would I handle that situation? And then they come in and they make that personal, and those lines are connected them to their soul, and they're just different. It's unique. You can't put your finger on it, but it's because they've used themselves, not an idea of what the character should be, but they ask themselves, what if I was an FBI agent? Both of you could be a amazing FBI agent. So all you would have to say is, what if I was an FBI agent? Now, if you start there, you're not going to be much different than how you guys are now. Sure, you might have gone to Quantico. Sure, you might have had different training. But the essence of who you are, the way you talk, the mannerisms, the way with which you look, is going to be fundamentally the same. So it's not trying to play an idea of what an FBI agent would look like and sound like and walk like. It's to be you as an FBI agent.
Wow.
And it's a subtle
Wow.
but significant difference in your work. And then you
Mm.
both would be amazing FBI agents. You would both have different approaches and different qualities, and they would be unique. Because if you watch documentaries, there's every creed, color, and of FBI agents or doctors or lawyers. So the question really is, what if?
Wow. Wow.
Well,
Well,
thank you.
Kirk,
Thank you.
Kirk, man, wow. I think you just wrapped up the whole interview right there, man. I mean, because it really brings it back. I mean, it really brings it back to in everything that we do, that you've got to be self-aware, right? It's
Yes.
got to start and begin. It's got to start there and even end there in everything that we do, regardless of what, you know, what craft we're perfecting. So thank you for reminding us of that. I mean, it's specifically important as an actor, but I think it also is important in life, right? To be authentic,
Yes.
to be
Yeah,
your
in
authentic.
all aspects of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
So
I think that word
yeah,
gets used a lot, authentic self, like what is
yeah,
authentic self? But
right.
it's really who you are. It's your life
Yeah,
experience, like
yeah,
however many years old you are, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, you've had 60 years of developing that character. There's
yeah.
no character more complex, more interesting, more dynamic than that 30-year-old character who you already are. So don't throw it away. It's impossible.
Mm,
And it doesn't matter
thank.
what you do, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, you work at Trader Joe's or Whole Foods or Costco.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, man. What it's really being about is truthful and honoring yourself. Some might call
Wow.
that your authentic self, but just it's you. It's there's in you is that magnificence, and we think we have to become somebody else or something else, when in reality, just get out of your own way and be you.
Wow. Well, we appreciate you being you here on Soulivity
Yes.
today. Man, keep us
Thank you.
posted about the things that you're doing, man, because we want to honor you and bring you back on and talk to you some more in the future, okay?
Thank you very much. I'm honored and blessed, gentlemen. Thank you, as always, for having me. And thank you for listening to me. I'd rather listen to you guys than me talk, but thanks for listening.
No. We will be talking, trust me.
Hey, everyone, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back with more of Soulivity today. So we'll be right back. Soulivity today is brought to you by Happy Travelers Tours and Old Vine Wine Tours. Satana products at our Go shop at go.soulivity.com.
Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible Soulivity team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So, tune in every Wednesday right here on Soulivity TV to join the fun, and remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Hey, we're back with more of Soulivity today. We hope you enjoyed our interview with KIRK B.R. WOLLER. Please go check out his website, ActorKlass, where you can learn more about giving people passion and purpose through perfecting their craft as artisans and as actors. at ActorKlass.com. Now, before we get out of here, I just want to end today's show with another clip from my interview with Milana Snow. I thought it was important to reinforce the spirit that uncovering the truth about who you are and empowering your passion is vital to having a consciously joyful life, as well as understanding, about what your passion is and what you want to do around perfecting that. So here's a little bit more with our interview, and we'll be right back after this. Wow. You talked about like your childhood and moving through these different aspects of your life. Do you feel like because you went through those things, you have more tools in your tool belt as you are relating to other people?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the thing that's so beautiful about going through that full completion of healing a traumatic experience or a trauma or a loss, really like bringing it into completion and resolution, is that then it gets to be a gift. If we leave something unresolved, then it's a burden. But if we bring it into completion, then it is a gift for our use and for the benefit of ourselves and others. So something I shared on social media for the first time a couple of days ago was that I was actually suffocated as a child for
I saw that. My goodness.
Yeah, and it's completely resolved in me. I feel now so grateful that I was able to use that experience as a gift that informs my well-being, but also informs the work that helps so many people with breath work. I can't imagine that I would be a breathwork teacher if I didn't have that experience that was kind of playing out in the background as I was healing myself. And now that I've really revisited that experience and really worked through that emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, physically, for years, I realized that as challenging and as tragic and unfortunate as that was, it actually ended up being something that was a major turning point in who I am today in the most positive ways, in ways that outweigh the pain and the trauma that it caused. And so now, when people ask me about the gift of breath, or they're afraid of going deeper into their minds or their experiences or their memories because of what breath can do, I understand and I can reflect back to them how deeply I understand that compassion is real and thorough. And it's not that you have to go through those levels of trauma to be able to experience or share that kind of compassion. But I will say that bringing that trauma in particular to completion was what made that for me something that I'm even more passionate about. It's almost like it gave me fuel to get this message out to a greater audience so that fewer people would A, cause that kind of pain towards others, but B, can use what I've learned to transform their pain and their trauma in an empowering way. So it has layered use. And I don't think that we have to go through trauma to be able to give gifts of lives.
Right.
I'm not saying that. But I will say that we all have experiences that we can transform and resolve, and that those things can be used for our good and for the good of the whole.
I am so glad you said that. I am so glad you said that. Speaking of celebration, getting to my other question I was going to ask you about, joy. What brings you joy?
What brings Milana joy? Let's see. What brings me joy? Well, I think I'm kind of living that question right now, ironically, because now that for the past few years, I feel like so much has gotten to a secure and consistent place. I finally got to ask myself that, and then get into a place where joy felt safe. It's something I was just talking about in another Instagram post the other day. I think for so many of us who experience trauma or upheaval in our earlier years, joy and happiness can feel like a really scary thing and a scary place to be. And so for the past few years, practicing feeling secure in joy and safety is just like one of the biggest gifts and challenges that I've come across. And so in the exploration of that, one of the biggest things for me has been connecting with nature. I just love nature so much. I think it is just really the great equalizer of humanity. And it really brings us back to a remembrance of what's really important. So I have a lot of joy spending time in nature with my fiance and our dog. They're actually in nature right now while I'm in LA, so they get to have it without me right now this weekend. But it's a big thing for me. And another one is really speaking with my inner child and really working with her to understand what in the moment, because spontaneity is so important, what in the moment is exciting to her. Does she want to paint? Do we want to go and sing in the car with loud music? Do we want to work out? So for me, it's really about that tapping in to what's in the moment. And that for me today is going to be working out. I'm really enjoying working out and dancing with the music really loud as I drive on the street.
I love it. That's all caps, by the way. There's no like, it's I love it. Wow. Hey, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back with more of Soulivity today. Back in a few.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame, living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us, a place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Are you ready to take that first step towards true, unwavering inner happiness? Are you like thousands of people who have everything they need, not want, but need, and still can't seem to find happiness and fulfillment in their lives? If so, the Steps to Happiness show is for you. On my show, you will learn about the principles and practices that lead to true inner happiness. Because guess what? It isn't found in our external environment, but within ourselves instead. Together with my guests, we will explore the latest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being practices. And together, we'll advise you on the actionable steps you can take towards a happier, more fulfilled, authentic life. So I invite you to join me each week on Soulivity TV on the Steps to Happiness show with me, Teresa Greco.
Hi there, this is Brian with Soulivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Soulivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Soulivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoyed the Aspire Academy by Soulivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life. Hey, well, we're back with more of Soulivity today. Let's get to some shameless plugs from Soulivity.com to wrap up our show. Now, first up, did you know that you can actually watch or listen to all of Soulivity Today's shows? Yes, if you visit our site at Soulivity.com and go to Soulivity Today, you can actually learn more about our show. You can actually also watch our last shows. We can watch even more of our past shows by clicking here. And you can also go down and download our show podcast directly from our website using your own, using Spreaker, which is our podcast provider, or any podcast provider that you have, such as SoundCloud or Tumblr or Spotify. Also, while you're there, please go and check out our partners, Happy Travelers Tours and Old Vine Wine Tours, as well as 80 Bites. Both of these sponsors are that have amazing products, and you will not be disappointed. Also, remember to follow us on social media and join our mailing list by visiting the Soulivity Today show site now. If you sign up on YouTube, you'll be able to get live alerts when we go live with our shows. Listen, everyone, I just want to say thank you for being and joining us today. Join us every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern for our live broadcast on Soulivity TV, or at 8 a.m. Pacific time on KMET 1490 AM for all of you out on the West Coast. Now, until next time, keep having real conversations with passion and purpose, and create a life full of high quality living today. Bye for now.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved. Six years ago, when I started Soulivity, my vision was to support everyone in improving their life through the discovery of their passion and purpose, so they could become the best version of themselves, to battle fear and ignorance, and create a better world today. Get inspired to live your passion and purpose. Visit Soulivity.com.